exactly like Dino. Um,
Yeah. Dino, like who the heck has ever heard of Dino?
I actually mocked that when I first heard it. I said when I first heard that I said I cannot imagine this in the film. I can't imagine Optimus saying something like Dino, get over here or something because it just
Right?
made me
They only
laugh.
said Dino once, right? They only called his name once.
Yeah, it was in like it was in the nest base or
Right before
something.
the Mexican standoff.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, of course, yeah. Sideswipe
It
said
was
it.
Dino, I got him.
And then he just drove off and left all of his teammates behind. Uh, but no,
That's
it's
right. That is actually very funny because I was watching that. Like I watched Dark of the Moon like every so often, and then I watched that scene and he's driving off. But I was wondering how come he wasn't included in the fight. He just drives off.
yeah. He's just like, you guys can handle this, and then I how he gets killed.
If I didn't hit there, I know I wouldn't be killed.
It's I don't know. I mean I don't think Dark of the Moon is the best film out of the franchise, but it's still I still went there and had a lot of fun. It's one of the funnest movie experiences I've had.
Absolutely, I completely agree with that. G1, I mean not G1. 2007 will always be my favorite, and I love Dark of the Moon for what it was. It was purely entertaining, and that last, up starting with the freeway chase to the end of the movie, I felt it was a total ride. So
Yeah,
it was awesome.
I mean, what you don't like Revenge of the Fallen?
I enjoyed it the first time I watched it. I think the first three times I watched it in the theater, I enjoyed it. It was actually, I think it's a movie that's meant to be seen in the theater because it's got some big action, but once you watch it at home, you start you start really nitpicking the movie because
Yeah.
of what it's of all the things that you find are wrong with it as a Transformers film. I'm not going to get into all the details, but one of my biggest issues was that it felt like U.S. military versus Decepticons, not Autobots versus Decepticons. That was my biggest problem with the movie.
and when
The Egypt fight.
Yeah, and when it was Autobots Decepticons, the
Yeah, all
Autobots
these
get
army guys kept on coming in
it,
instead of Autobot reinforcements.
yeah, exactly. I don't know. I don't hate the film.
I don't
Um,
hate the film. It's just not very good.
it's. I mean, my brother he actually thinks that's his favorite, and I totally respect that because
It was fun.
he's not into it. He's not into the franchise like I am,
Yeah.
who gets annoyed by humping robots and stuff.
Yeah.
Uh, but it's an odd film, definitely.
You know what? I find it structured very weird. It just goes all over the place. And you know what? Like Michael Bay already said everything he needs to tell us about it. There was a writer's strike, and also at the final fight between Optimus and the Fallen and Megatron, he admitted himself that this is pretty much where they ran out of money.
Yeah, yeah,
They couldn't create the fight that fans always wanted, and what they were able to give us is one of the greatest fights in Transformers trilogy history, and that's the
Forest
forest fight.
fight. Yeah, I mean that was one of. I remember watching it at cinemas and absolutely like freaking out because that was just badass.
Yeah, it's something that I've never seen ever in in my movie going career, and, and I did not expect it to be that awesome. So
Yeah,
it was only 1 minute long, but actually it was still just crazy awesome.
yeah, I couldn't agree more. It was definitely. I mean, if the entire film was made like that, then
Yeah,
it would have had the potential to be the best out of the trilogy.
yeah. Hey,
Uh,
by the way, Ben, do you have IMAX cinemas over there? Like, are you near one? Are you?
I've never actually been to one. We do. I think my nearest one's probably about an hour's drive away. I'm not sure.
An hour?
But I would definitely. I've never, like I said, I've never been to one. But if Transformers Four is in IMAX, I definitely go and see it because
Transformers 4 is in IMAX, will be filmed in IMAX, so I think it'll be worth the drive. Another thing is that Revenge of the Fallen, the forest fight and the Devastator scenes are shot in IMAX using IMAX cameras, so the screen just opens up and it's worth it. Well, I mean, it's too late now, but but still, the forest fight IMAX version, you'll notice like, hey, I didn't notice this scene, this shot.
Yeah,
It's actually quite unique. It's unfortunate that you didn't get to watch it, but that's another movie.
I do remember I saw I think I YouTubed it when I was bored at
Yeah,
college or something. I saw like the entire forest fight, and there's like there's not, like you said, there's not much difference, but there is bits like you see like Starscream going at Optimus with like a circular saw or something, and then you see
yes.
like Blackout taking him on, and then it like it's not much, but it just makes it a whole lot cooler.
Yeah, it's not much at all. It's just like it. Like if I had to choose between the two versions, obviously I'd choose the longer one, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's I mean, like I say, I don't think if they'd added that in this in the movie, I would have come out thinking, wow, that movie's just the best. But but it's I think it's something that maybe could have been added because when you look at it, the some of the fights are really short. But it definitely added something, that's for sure.
For sure.
Um,
Definitely watch Transformers 4 at one time in IMAX. Like you gotta
you've got to.
owe that to yourself.
Yeah, I will make that a mission because I know the IMAX takes up. Is it your entire peripheral vision, isn't it?
Depending on where you sit, of course, if you sit like in the actually, I find that the third row from the back, right in the middle, is really good. Yeah,
Okay.
that's a really good seat. But the most important thing is that it the screen is just so big, but at the same time, even though it's a giant screen, it doesn't stretch the image. That image quality is still very sharp and in high resolution. So it's beautiful. It looks great.
Oh, brilliant! Yeah, I'll definitely I'll make sure I check that out because
Yeah, yeah,
I think it's paramount. Pardon the pun there for the for, but it is paramount to get the best movie experience. So, um, but yeah, I mean, and Michael Bay said it's going to be what was it, a chase from hell? Did he
yeah,
say?
yeah.
I think you've got to get the best experience. You've got to see it the best
Yes.
way, and I think I personally am not a big fan of 3D. Partly because I've got a dodgy eye, so it doesn't really work that
Well,
well.
3D is I like it when movies are in IMAX but without 3D. You
Yeah.
know, because the IMAX is I like the IMAX presentation, but I don't really need the 3D because like Oblivion was shot in IMAX, but without 3D, and it looked great. Okay,
Yeah.
there are other movies coming out, for example, Elysium. That is also has an IMAX presentation, but it's not in 3D. And I love the option of not being able to watch it in 3D because it's not for everyone, and plus, everybody's perception of 3D is different, right? For example, you don't see it as well. I see it all right, but sometimes, like, I see a flickering.
I always have to take the glasses off because I went to see Iron Man 3 in 3D, which I actually quite like because well, I wouldn't call it a spoiler, but when you've got like the bits of the Mark 42 flying around,
Yeah,
I thought that worked really well because
yeah,
they're just flying around and like bits are coming at you and stuff, and but there was bits through the film where I had to literally just take my glasses off for a second because I was just getting a headache from it.
yeah. Like the 3D actually looks great, especially when you know like what's going on the screen is actually CG because it's easier for them to make things pop out that are already CG. For example, Iron Man
Yeah,
flying around, like that's a CG element, right?
yeah,
It's not real, so they can control how much they want that to pop out in front of in your face, right? So
yeah.
that's the way it works.
But it's definitely. I mean, is Michael Bay using? Is he going to be using any
Yeah,
new film tech
well,
for this?
they're definitely going to be using a lot of new camera toys, new technology. First of all, they're using an IMAX camera that is a lot smaller than your traditional IMAX camera. The reason why he didn't want to shoot Dark of the Moon in IMAX is because the the cameras are just huge and they're really noisy.
Yeah,
So it's something that was hard to work with. But for Transformers 4, they have, I think him and James Cameron were able to develop a smaller version of the camera, thus making him allowing him to attach it onto to I guess vehicles or
Mm.
attach it onto to certain types of camera cranes
I did.
or just having it handheld, you know?
Yeah, I did see that on the. Is it that that new rally car that was just released?
Yeah, yeah.
There was an on-set picture where that rally car was like completely the front of it and the side and
Oh
the
yeah,
roof
yeah.
had
They
like
got
just cameras just
they got
all
cameras
over it.
everywhere. Yeah, it could be one of those cameras. Could be an IMAX camera. Who knows? But I wouldn't be surprised because they're shooting a lot of IMAX footage. And to top things off, a lot of the IMAX footage is going to, of course, be used during action sequences.
Yeah.
So what we saw right there on the production photos was an action sequence. It was a Decepticon chase, and it was a Decepticon chase scene, and in the Sonic RS car, they are being chased down by Decepticons, and I totally believe they're going to be shooting that in IMAX. So it's going to be really exciting for us.